Please be seated. Next, the Chamber hands the floor to the co-prosecutors to put questions to the civil party, if you wish to do so, and you have 15 minutes.
Merci, bonjour, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. President, Your Honors, and all the parties. Mr. Civil Party, I have some questions for you concerning 3 topics. First, the Division 310 and the arrests that took place within that division. I would also like to mention several documents that were found at S21, which concern your brother and your sister-in-law, and then finally to ask you several questions about Kampong Chhnyan, because you said that you were transferred to the construction site for that airport there. Now, concerning Division 310, you said that Un was the commander and Pung was his deputy. Do you know if those leaders were arrested?
After my elder brother disappeared, then members of the division disappeared, Un disappeared, and he was replaced by Ta Nho. Ta Nho said Division 310 would change to Division 207. And that happened after Ta Un had disappeared, although I did not know how he disappeared. So this means that Ta Un was also arrested.
Est-ce que vous avez entendu?
Did you hear from the successor of Ta Un or another person the reasons for the arrests of Un and Vung? Had they been accused of something?
They said that the division betrayed Angkar. Then the members of the division were sent for re-education near Wat Phnom as they were late of preparing themselves to rebel. At the time, they did not say that a member of the division, including Un, was arrested, but in fact they were sent for re-education, although I did not know where the location was.
Merci.
Thank you. Were the arrests of Ung and Vung, you said that they were following the arrest of your brother. Was it a long time afterwards or just a short time afterwards?
The arrests were conducted successively, one after another. However, I cannot recall the dates, and as I said, he was later on replaced by Ta Nho.
Ce n'est pas grave pour la date.
The date isn't that important. Concerning your brother, were you able to find out during which precise period he was arrested?
I know that I visited him for the first time and he was there, but for the second time he was not. And for my second visit, the horn came to my elder brother's office, although he was a driver, and he told me that my elder brother had been arrested by Onka, and then another person came down and said that I was the brother of a traitor of Onka. That's how I learned about that event. And from that day onward, I tried to conceal my biography. During that period of time, we were asked to write our biography rather frequently. Sometimes we were asked to write it weekly. Sometimes we were asked to write it fortnightly. And I lied in my biography.
Merci. Je vais vous demander d'être...
Thank you. I would like to ask you to be quite detailed and brief, concise in your responses. In fact, in the biography of the prisoner that was showed to you shortly ago with the photograph, the E32989, so this is the biography of your brother Che Heng. It is indicated that on the date of his arrest was 12 February 1977, and he was arrested in Division 310. Does this refresh your memory concerning the date of the arrest or the period of arrest? Does this correspond with your memory? February 1977?
Based on the content of that document, that was the date of the arrest.
Concernant les motifs de l'arrestation de...
Concerning the reasons leading to the arrest of your older brother, were you able to ever find out if this arrest was in some way linked with the arrest of the deputy director and the director of the division, that is Un and Vung?
That was the likely reason, because when I visited him the first time, I asked him that I wanted to go to our native village, and he said to wait for a while. At the time, another elder brother said that he did not have enough food to eat. And at the time, he felt so pity for us, and I could see tears in his eyes, and that he could not take us to our native village. And he says that since he brought along his younger and elder brothers, he couldn't take them to the native village. And I did not know, maybe that was a part of the reasons that he tries to take us back to the village. Maybe he asked Onka for that permission. During a meeting, I was told that when we joined the army, then we sacrificed everything, including ourselves, and that we could not return to our village.
I have a few documents I would like to discuss. First, the document E3/3858. And this is a list entitled the names of the prisoners who were executed on 12 May 1978. And at number 68 on this list, so at English page 00837619, French 00848743, Khmer 00009196, and the following is noted: Che Heng, Division 310, duties in charge of statistics of the cattle and each unit. entered S21. In Khmer we see 13 February 1977. It's considered as an illegible date in French and in English. And so in reality, there are two things that I would like to focus on here. First, did you learn that there was a list on which your brother appeared among the people who were executed on 12 May 1977 at S21?
I did not know about the events surrounding the killing of him. I did not know the exact date he was killed. But one day, when I worked at the hospital as a cleaner, and I realized that people, and I heard from what people said that people were killed. So I feel shocked because I think about my own fate. What would happen to me?
I also would like to mention that your brother's name is on the revised prisoner list at S21 that was provided by OCP and index E3/342 at number 908, as well as on the updated list from the OCIJ E3/10604 at number 2150. And among the sources of the list from the OCIJ, we find document E3/10266 on page 12 in Khmer. The ERN is 01016893, and we find your brother's name at number 15, at page 15. We also find the name of your sister-in-law, Vornskron alias Lee, on the OCIJ list, number 7519, and on the OCP list at 11,612. And there are two documents that are mentioned in the OCIJ document, E3/10431. On page 2 of this document, and we see here on this page that Von Schoen is mentioned, alias Ni, coming from Division 310 at S21 Call, entered on 1 January 1978 and executed on 3 January 1978, and his name is on page 4, or at number 4 on this page. Another document, E3/8663, at Khmer page 000169193. And we find your sister-in-law's name at number 29. So, were you already made aware of such documents that mentioned your sister-in-law on the S21 lists?
When I went to S21, I was a little bit dizzy. I did not see the document list of my sister-in-law that you mentioned.
Fine. I would now like to put a few questions to you about what happened in Kompong Shnang Can you tell us when and why you were transferred to the Kampong Chhnang airport site under the leadership of Division 502?
It was in 1978. I can remember it was the year that Salpam was arrested. When Tanyo came to in charge of the division, I was transferred from Calamite location to reside in Tulkok. And a few days later, I was sent to watch the movie at Olympic. And we were transported by trucks. So my unit came to watch the movie. And at that time, my unit chief had already disappeared. Later on, there was a messenger named Krun from the division who was sent to my unit. And when he arrived, I worked hard. I did not dare to take a rest because I was afraid that I would be accused of being lazy. So the messenger named Krun told us to prepare our luggage because we would be transferred to somewhere else. So when we arrived at the division headquarters, we were given uniforms. So when we received the clothes was not in good condition, and people told us that it was the clothes confiscated from the traitorous Salpam. So we received a pair of clothes for each of us. And while we was waiting at the division headquarters, it was around 8 o'clock. So there were 60 of us who were gathered there. And there were 2 trucks which transported us. And they said that our force would be transferred to another division.
Well, maybe can you describe a bit more succinctly the working conditions when you were there at the Kampong Chhnang airport worksite?
If I tell you very brief, you will not understand the whole story. So let me tell you. When we arrived there, we were put in a concrete house, and we were called to a meeting. And then they asked us whether any one of us were lazy, not hardworking. Some of other units, they replied that some of their members were like that. And they told us that if we work hard, Angka would keep us. For those who were lazy, they would be taken out. And that was the time that I realized about what would happen if I was lazy.
And Were some people removed, as you said? Did some people disappear, in particular in your unit, when you were working there?
I did not witness the arrest with my own eyes, but I heard that this unit or force was assigned to work here, and that force or unit was assigned to work there. I did not see the arrest with my own eyes. I knew 3 people who were said to be sent to work at the airport in Po Chin Tong. They were sent to work at Po Chin Tong and they disappeared since that time. And I was the only one from my unit who was sent to be attached with the unit of soldiers from the East Zone.
In your WRI E3/9441, on page 5 in English and page 6 in Khmer, you were asked, I will quote in English,
were many people taken away? And then you answered, there were 3 different units in my group. In the one I belonged to, 50 members disappeared. This happened in the northern part of the work site. Donc, est-ce que j'ai bien...
So, did I understand properly what you said to the OCIJ, saying that you noted that a certain number of people disappeared? You mentioned the figure of 50 in the northern part of the work site. Do you confirm this, or do you wish to correct this?
Not to the north of the work site. When I arrived there, I was based at the western part of the work site. It was in Krang Liu. That was to the west of the airport work site. President, the chamber would like to remind the co-prosecutor that your time has run out.
Thank you, civil party.
President, thank you, co-prosecutor. Now I would like to give the floor to the defense counsel, and you have 15 minutes to put question to the civil party if you have any question.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's my understanding that we had 65 minutes in total, so that would mean 22 minutes per team, but I might be wrong. Anyway, I will move on quickly. Good morning, Mr. Civil Party. You said that earlier you worked at Calmet Hospital, the military hospital belonging to Division 310. Is that close to Wat Phnom?
The military hospital of Division 310 was not there. It was based in front of Ta Vuong's house, next to the Calmet Hospital. It was the place where soldiers who were injured in the battlefield were brought in for treatment.
Do you know whether there were ever meetings of Division 310 soldiers at Wat Phnom or close to Wat Phnom?
Yes, I used to go for study session to the north of Wat Phnom. Ta Eun was arrested, let me correct, senior cadres were arrested there. We spent 1 month for the study session there.
What kind of building was that close to Wat Phnom where those study sessions were held? Can you be a little bit more detailed?
Which building in Wat Phnom are you referring to? Could you please specify the exact location?
Where was it that meetings or study sessions were held exactly? You said close to Wat Phnom, but do you remember where you had your study sessions with other Division 310 soldiers?
The meeting took place at Division 310 headquarters to celebrate the anniversary of 1975 victory, and it took place at Tulko. It was before the arrest of the commander of the division.
Do you know whether there was also a radio station close to Wat Phnom?
I did not know where it was, but at the hospital we were given a radio so that we could play it for the patients to listen to, but I had no idea where the radio station was located.
You said you were a member of Division 310. Were you also a member of a battalion within Division 310? And if yes, did that battalion have a number?
I was with the children unit. After my brother's arrest, I was sent to do rice farming. I did not know how many battalions were there in the division.
Do you know whether there was a battalion 306?
As I told you a little bit earlier, after I left the children unit, I knew only about the people in my unit. I had no knowledge of other units.
Battalion 306, commanded by Tayyim, YIM, and Taban, BAN. Does that mean anything to you? Have you ever heard of commanders Tayyim and Taban?
Yes, I heard of their names. There were many people attended the meeting of the division in 1975. So during that meeting, Angka announced the names of the important people, but they did not announce the names of every division, because there were so many people from each division.
What is it that you remember about Tayyim and Taban? What is it that you remember about them? What were their ranks? Where were they from?
In short, I want to clarify that I knew only about my unit, not others. At the meeting, they did not announce all the names. They simply announced only the names of the person who would address or represent a division or a particular unit. So that's why I had no full knowledge of their names.
But do you know what their positions were? Do you know whether Taban was a chairman of a regiment and Tayyim was a chairman of a battalion?
President, the floor is given to the co-prosecutor.
I'm objecting to this question, Mr. President. The questions are becoming more and more leading. I don't believe that, spontaneously speaking, we were talking about any kind of position. So maybe we should ask the question to the civil party if he knows the position that they held, either within a regiment or a battalion.
I thought I had asked that, but I didn't get a sufficient answer, so I was trying to be more direct, also considering the time. But I have no problem doing it again. Mr. Civil Party, very concrete. Do you know what the ranks were of Yim and Taban?
As I told you earlier, that I was transferred from the children unit to the rice farming unit, and then I was sent to the division. I had no full knowledge about the structure of the division. I knew that the division had many units, and part of it only when I attended the meeting in 1975. So I knew only people in my unit, not others, as I told you earlier.
In your WRI E3/9441, English ERN 00804120 and Khmer 008044127. You said that you realized that your brother belonged to the North Zone. or that the division 310 belonged to the North Zone. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Do you know who Koi Tun was?
Koi Tun was in charge of the zone. As for Un and Wung, they were commander and deputy commanders of the division. The division was under the zone.
Do you know whether your brother had any contact or whether he ever met Koi Tun?
I don't know. Because when Phnom Penh was liberated, he went to bring me to Phnom Penh. I did not know about his real position in the military.
You said earlier this morning that your brother was accused of treason. In your civil party application, you used the words that he was accused of, quote unquote, initiating a revolt. Do you know what exactly it was that he was accused of? What had he done? What was he involved in? Do you know?
I knew the account of his arrest through Tahao. When I went to visit my brother, I knew the account of the accusation that my brother was accused of being a traitor through Tahao. Because I was not there at the time of his arrest, I was with my unit.
I understand that he was accused of being a traitor, but do you know what he and others had done? What were they accused of doing factually? Are you aware of any of this?
I was not with him at that time. And even at the meeting time, people did not mention about the wrongdoing of those who were arrested. They simply said that he was a traitor without giving any other reason beyond that.
Have you ever heard at a later stage whether your brother was involved in plans to attack the radio station close to Wat Phnom, attack Pochentong Airport, to be involved in the staging of a coup d'etat against the government?
My unit did not know anything about that. We focused on the assignment that we were given, and we had to fully concentrate on that, otherwise we would be disappeared. And I did not try to find that kind of information at all.
And also, after the arrest of your brother and others, did you hear during meetings about plans of Division 310 combatants, plans to stage a coup d'etat, plans to attack Radio Phnom Penh attack Pochitong Airport. Have you ever heard this during meetings after your brother was arrested?
No, I did not hear anything about that. I did not know about it, nor did I hear about it. I never heard that they wanted to take over Pochitong Airport or the radio station. The only thing that I knew is that my elder brother had been arrested, and I tried to work even harder.
Do you know how many combatants of Division 310 were arrested in total in the period of February, March 77?
I did not know about the total numbers arrested in the division because I did not have that figure with me. However, I knew that for each meeting that we were called to attend, there were many members of the division.
I suppose this is my last question. Mr. Civil Party, have you ever heard of Division 310 combatants storing weapons in warehouses?
I was still a child at the time, and I walked through even to Ang Duong hospital. I went through vacant houses, but I did not see any storage of weapons. I did not see any of those weapons in those houses that I entered.
My very last questions. Have you ever heard of someone who testified in this court called Sam Hun, who was also a Division 310 combatant? Sam Hun. Does that name sound familiar?
I only knew those members of my unit, and I could not know about members of other units. During the regime, we were prohibited to talk to other people in other units, and we could not even talk among a group of 3 people. We could only talk amongst the 2 people, otherwise we would be accused of betrayal. In the evening, during the criticism and self-criticism meetings, we would be criticized if we were accused of being lazy and not working hard for Angkar. And for that reason, I only knew members of my unit.
The last name I want to put before you, Mr. Civil Party, Khon Brak, English Khorn, Brak, B-R-A-K, Khon Brak. Does that mean anything to you?
No, that name does not ring a bell. And as I have stated, I only knew members of my unit, and that is it. I did not know members of other units. During each meeting, we were not allowed to speak. We only be allowed to only congratulate or to cheer the leaders.
Thank you, Mr. Civil Party. Thank you, Mr. Rodney.
Thank you, Counsel. And lastly, I'd like to hand the floor to the defense team for Kieu Sampon. And you have 15 minutes. You may proceed. Thank you, Mr. President. The defense team for Kieu Sampon do not have any question for this civil party. President, thank you, Counsel. And Mr. Chahib, as part of your statement of harms and suffering, do you wish to make any further statement, or do you wish to put questions to the accused through me, the President of the Chamber? If you wish to do so, it is now your opportunity. Civil Party. Yes, I have 2 or 3 questions to put to them. President, you may proceed. Civil Party. First, I'd like to answer the accused who were the leaders during the regime as to the reason why my elder brother, who sacrificed himself to join the resistance until it succeeded, why was he arrested, tortured, and executed? And even if he was executed, why my elder and younger siblings were also arrested and executed? That is my first question. And second question, why we had to eat communally, to live communally, why cooperatives were established, and why soldiers were not allowed to visit their villages. Third question, why such a regime was established? Why there were no longer pagodas and money circulation, and why freedom was prohibited? No money changes hand, no market, no pagoda to go to during the regime. And why was that? And my apology, Your Honor, I cannot think of other questions. In fact, before my appearance, I have had several questions that I wish to put to the accused, but when I'm here, I cannot think of any other questions. President, thank you, Civil Party. And the Chamber wishes to inform you, Mr. Chahib, that during the proceedings on 8 January 2015, after the Chamber have heard the response from the accused that they exercise their right to remain silent, the Chamber wishes to inform you that the co-accused reaffirms their positions to exercise their rights to remain silent. Unless the Chamber receive further information from the accused or their counsels otherwise of their rights to remain silent. And the Chamber also noted the counsel and the co-accused to inform the Chamber in a timely and efficient manner should the accused resolves to waive the right to remain silent and be willing to respond to questions by the bench or relevant parties at any stage of the proceedings. Defense Counsel, you have the floor.
Yes, I apologize to interrupt, Mr. President, but having just heard what you said in relation to our clients exercising his right to remain silent, I think I should refer you to a recently filed motion or submission, E/421/1/2. We filed it on the 1st of August this year. In a redacted version, it was published on the website, I believe, yesterday. He still maintains his right to remain silent. However, it's now conditional to a certain event, hopefully and potentially happening once. So it might be a good opportunity also to advise the Chamber that the things that you're always saying after the civil party asks a question, that is now not entirely accurate reflection of the position of our client.
President, as of today, the Chamber is not informed that the co-accused have changed their position and thus agreed to provide response to questions. And Mr. Chahib, the Chamber is grateful of your presence and hearing of your statement of harm and suffering that you claim that you suffered during the period of Democratic Cambodia regime in relation to S21 Security Center is now concluded. You may be excused. And Mr. Bun Lam Hu, the Chamber is grateful of your assistance. You may also be excused. Court officer, please work with Visu to return Mr. Chahib to his residence, or wherever he wishes to go to. You may now leave the courtroom. Court officer, could you usher civil party to TCCP 1047 along with Ms. Chai Maridan, TPL staff, into the courtroom? President, good morning, Madam Civil Party. What is your name? Civil Party, my name is Pung Yad. President, thank you. And when were you born? Answer. I was born on 15 April 19 60. I am now 56 years old. Question: and where is your current address? Answer: I live in Trapeang Risai village, Krola commune, Kampong Siem district, Kampong Cham province. Question: what is your current occupation? Answer: I worked in the rice field and plantation. Question: what are the names of your parents? Answer: their names are Okpung, Kuong. Question: are you married? If so, what is your husband's name and how many children do you have? Answer: my husband is saying Kum Aing, and we have 3 children. President, thank you. And Madame Phung Yat, as a civil party in the proceedings before this chamber, you may make a statement of harm and suffering in relation to the crimes alleged against the 2 accused, that is Nunchi and Keo Sampon, which were inflicted upon you during the period of the Democratic Cambodia regime, which led you to become a civil party, in this case to seek collective and moral reparations from the accused for harms and sufferings that happened to you, physically, materially, or mentally, and which are the direct consequences of those crimes. And the chamber hands the floor first to the lead co-lawyers for civil parties in relation to the statement of harms and suffering by this civil party. Thank you, Mr. President. Once again, good morning, Your Honors. Good morning, everyone in and around the courtroom. And good morning, Madam Civil Party Phung Yat. I am the National Lead Co-Lawyer for Civil Parties, and my name is Bích Ong. I have some questions that I'd like to put to you in relation to what happened to your family members. Can you tell the chamber before 17 April 1975 how many family members did you have? Answer: I am from a family of 8 members. My elder sister included Phung Im, Phung Wen, Phung Pon, Phung Pain. Questioned: and where did you live before 1975? Answer: before 1975, I lived in Svai Til. Then at Goswide, I lived with my parents, and I separated from my siblings. I was with my father at the time. Questioned: and after 17 April 1975, and it continued to the 7 January 1979, where did you and your family live? Answer: from 1975, my siblings were drafted into soldiers. 2 of them then disappeared, and my elder sister was told to go to Phnom Penh, and I did not know about her fate. I heard that she was arranged to get married and she was in a solving a factory. However, later on, I did not receive any further news from her. And here I refer to my other sister, Pung Im. Question. And later on, possibly after 1975, did you know where your sister Pung Im lived? And a woman named Red told me that my other sister lived in Phnom Penh and that she had 2 children. She said that she saw her in Phnom Penh and that she went to a hospital together with her 2 children, and that's what I was told after 1975. And I have not received any further news from her or about her. Question. Did anyone tell you about where she lived after 1979, and have you received any further news regarding her whereabouts? And after 1979, my nephew came to Phnom Penh and said that maybe my siblings had died at the Tu Slai prison. So I came to Tu Slai and I saw their photos displayed at the Tu Slai. Mr. President, I seek your permission to display a photo that is part of her document, the document of this civil party. It's the 22/3397B. It's at 0059-4310. And this document existed only in one language. President, yes, your request is granted, and court officer, please deliver the documents to the civil party. Question to Madam Civil Party. Can you tell the chamber whose photo it is and what is her name? And so this is a photo of my elder sister, Pung Im. She was killed. And on another page there is a photo of another person. Can you tell the chamber whose photo it is? And what is your relationship to the photo, to the person in the photo? President, Madam Civil Party, please observe the microphone. You should respond only when you see the red light on the tip of the microphone. Answer. That is also a photo of my elder sister when the photo was taken during the Sangkom Rih Niyom regime. President. rather lawyer. Mr. President, this document is D22/3397B, and the relevant EIN number is 00594302, says the Council. And also in document E3/8555 EIN 00086769 at number 13, one person is mentioned, and that is Pung Im, female, the wife of Un. And Madam Civil Party, I'd like to ask you about your other sister. Can you tell the chamber of your good memory of your other sister, and that later on you learned that she died at Tusline prison? Please tell the chamber of your feeling upon learning that she died at the Tusline prison. Answer. During the Sangkum-Niyum regime, my other sister worked as a volunteer in a unit, and during the Lonal regime, she sold clothes at our home, and my three other brothers climbed palm trees. We made palm sugar and sold them at Kapong Cham. They all loved me very much, and everywhere they went, they took me along. And my other sister also took palm sugar to sell in Kapong Cham. They lived, my other brothers lived by climbing palm trees. Question. Can you tell the chamber your feeling towards your other sister? Answer. I loved her very much. She took care of her younger siblings, bathing us, looking after us. Everywhere she went, she would take us along, since my mother was not at home. At the time she took care of us, she didn't want us to go anywhere in case that we would be arrested by the North soldiers, since we were women. And later on she disappeared, and later on I learned that she died at Tusline. I could not imagine how miserable it was for her to be there. Question. You said that you learned that she died at Tusline. Did you have any opportunity to go to Tusline to see her photo, or to receive any information regarding her? Answer. I saw her photo at Tusline, and from the appearance in the photo, she was severely tortured, and you could see that through her eyes.
Question. When you saw the photos at Tusline, whose photos of your relatives did you see at Tusline? I saw the photo of my siblings when Phnom Penh. All were displayed at Tusline. lawyer, when you saw the photos of your brothers and sisters at Tul's Line, how did you feel? Answer. I was very sad. I wept to the point that I almost lost my conscience. Question. Mr. President, I think now is maybe appropriate time for a break. President, thank you. It is now convenient time for a lunch break. The chamber will take a break from now until 1:30. In the afternoon session, the chamber will continue to hear the testimony, the statement on the harm and suffering. Madam Phung Yang, the hearing of your statement is not concluded yet. Therefore, we invite you back to this chamber at 1:30. Court officer, please bring Kip Somporn and Nun Jia back to the detention facility and bring them back to this courtroom at 1:30. The court is now